Welcome back. So that's enough of Scoutfish. I hope you found the videos showing you how to search for queen sacrifices and king chases useful. Now we're going to look at Python chess, which as the name suggests is an add-in to Python, which I've been using as a real workhorse for a number of scripts I've been writing. For instance, if you remember, I use it to give it a pawn structure, and then it probes the table base to work out the key squares. And then the charts, which I use in my World Championship Blunder series, they're made from using Python chess as well. In one of them, it goes into Python chess, finds all the games in the match and plots the accumulated score. And the other one, it goes into an individual game and then goes through all the moves in the individual game, which have already been analyzed on an engine, and plots the score during the game, right? So that just gives you a flavor of the sorts of things which you can use Python chess for. Python chess. Now I have here the website, the Python chess website, pythonchess.readthedoc.io. Now this website has a lot of good material, and it's got a lot of good examples. I just scroll through, you can see this showing examples of how, you know, there's a data structure called a board, and you move, and you can also display it, and you can see if you get back up the top, you can, if the position's in there, you can check if it's checkmate, and it's got chess opening book access, and I use it for probing endgame databases and so on. So it's got a lot of things that you can do. I'm only going to touch on it today, and then the most interesting thing is how you get it installed. Now, things have changed a little bit. It used to be as simple as this. You'd have pip, you may have to install pip itself, and then pip install chess. I mean, luckily Python chess, in terms of the pip repository, for lack of a better word, you know, chess has been given that namespace. So basically do that and it will be installed. I might have to do another video because that's the way I did it. It doesn't seem to work quite as smoothly now. You have to set up virtual environments, but I'll just show you what you can use it for first anyway, right? So what you then do is, obviously you are looking at just writing Python code. Now, most of my scripts are all the same. Basically, you open a PGN file, and then within that PGN file, you go through all the games, and within those games, you go through the moves, and you do whatever analysis or charting or whatever as you go through that process. So you import chess.pgn, import, which is the PGN handler, import chess, which understands boards and moves and so on. Sys is something different. And we'll come back to these definitions in a second. You go down to the bottom, and this is a typical thing where basically I just open up a file, which you provide as the first argument, and then I scan the PGN, all right? And so call scan PGN, and this is what I'm saying. The typical process here is you just read a game from the PGN file, and as long as there's another game in there, you scan the game. And this is basically, all my ones basically do this, right? Well, once you open the file, you go through and scan each game. Now here is the actual analysis for scanning a single game, right? So, and this is where you have a main line, and then you basically, for node in mainline, you basically step through the moves, and you look at the game. King Hunt 1, and what it does is it goes through. I mean, I won't explain this in full detail, but what my program here is, it goes through the whole game and basically makes a list of all the king moves. Remember in the last video on Scoutfish, I actually sort of did by hand, you know, where the king went. I thought that's actually a very easy thing to code up using Python chess, which is what I've done here, right? So it goes through all the game and creates a list. I mean, if you're familiar with the way that lists work in Python, it just builds a big list and then it returns that list back to where you call it from. So when you've done the game scan, you have a list of king moves. If you've done that, what am I going to do with that list of moves? Well, actually, I want to draw arrows, right? Which is exactly what I do. Now, you think about how you draw arrows. What I've done is I've made one big comment. Look at this. This is we'll see it later in the scid GUI. That's basically how you draw an arrow. Draw arrow, the move you're coming, the square you're coming from, the square you're going to, and whatever color you want it to be. And then when you've created the comment, you know, where are you going to put it? Now, in this case, I'll show you in the GUI, I just put it on the sort of the game stem, right? And then it's done all the work for me. It shows me all the king moves during the game. So They just give a bit of a flavor, basically. I just want to give a bit of flavor of how it works in Python. So let's close that. Now, I've already run this before, and I've got this game list. We'll come back to this Vucinic-Durovic one, but I'll show you, for instance, a board, and we'll just pick game one. Right. Okay. Now, see, it's done that automatically. When you're at the start of the game, it's a bit of a spoiler, actually. Probably I should have put it at the end of the game. It shows you all, in this case, the black king moves. So you can see the black king move in this case got pushed all the way to b4, where, depending on which game it is, I think we've seen this one before. Schlemm-Heinrich would have been checkmate. Okay, so now I'll just quickly drag the PGN over so you can see it, and you can see the way it works here. So this is scid versus PC, and it's put the comment in here right beneath the game information, and you can see what I said: percent draw arrow, e8, e7, orange, e7, e6, orange, right? So when I've saved that, what the Python script did is saved that information in the PGN, and then move that off, so that when you get into the GUI, it draws it. Actually, we can go to the end of the game. You can see that was the end of the game position, and you can see very truly that the king actually did get forced like that, right? Okay, so that was good. So what I'll do is let's just quickly look at another game, because what I thought is the way this works is, okay, so we go to the, let me try it, next. So yeah, we can just scan through the games. There's one where the king's moved up a bit, obviously castled first and got chased. Here's that one we looked at where the Huber-Lemke, where the king got chased all the way to e1. So you can just quickly look through and find an interesting one. Now, actually, let's look at another one. This is the one I was looking at, Vucinic-Durovic, which actually is very similar to that Lemke game. So let's just go through it and have a look and see if this has actually accurately captured the king moves. So was an Alekhine's. It is an Alekhine's. White is developing. Black is moving his one knight. Okay, d3. Bishop g4, pinning the knight. You get a familiar feeling here with white is certainly picking on that square. Pushes the bishop back, and then there we go. Here's the queen sack. Knight to e5. Black took the queen. Take the bishop takes f7 check. King's only got one square to move to. Bishop to g5 check. Now, once again, this actually does win the queen back, but let's see what happens. Knight check. So the other knight wasn't protected, but we just keep on forcing it forward, just forcing the black king forwards, because once again, knight's covering those squares, bishop's covering that square. It's got nowhere to hide. This is actually very similar. You can see what's happening. Well, actually, so if you look at that, now we didn't take the queen, so black had the opportunity. His queen's still on the board, but it's not going to help. c3 check. Once again, you can see all these squares are covered. King's forced to e3, and we even castle. And yeah, there's nothing black can do. It's I mean, basically, black should have sacrificed his queen, but black did not do that. So now it's the very similar checkmate. And you can see that if we go back to the opening position, that is actually the king chase, which I've got Python to plot out for me. That's all I wanted to go over today. I just thought it's quite interesting Python chess. As we go forwards, I'll show you a few more of my scripts, which use Python chess to mainly, as I say, look at PGN files and do some processing and annotating of them. Okay, that's great. Thank you very much for watching.